and welcome. On this channel, we're talking about learning English as a second language with a focus on improving your speaking skills. And in this video, I wanted to talk about the incredible shadowing technique. We'll talk about what is shadowing and why it is so effective and beneficial for English learners. What type of learner will benefit the most from shadowing? Tips and tricks on how to do shadowing more effectively. And then the fun part, we will actually do a practical shadowing exercise together. So if you're already familiar with shadowing, use chapters below the video in the description to jump right into the practice section. With the rest, let's dive in. So, shadowing, such a poetic name. You know what's shadow, right? The shadow from the sun. So when we're shadowing someone, we are repeating this person. Some people just call it listen and repeat or repeat after me technique. But shadowing has its nuances, and I'll talk about that today. So on a very basic level, we hear someone and we repeat after him or her. Why it is so beneficial? First of all, it helps us to improve our pronunciation. By mimicking native speaker, we naturally reducing our accent. Shadowing also helps us to improve our listening skills because we're tuning in to really catch this little different nuances and rhythms inside of someone's speech. Regular shadowing practice helps us to improve our fluency because we want to stay in the same rhythm. It's like singing a song, right? You don't want to come up with your own melody. Same with language. When you listen to someone and then repeat right after, you're naturally trying to replicate this person's intonations and patterns. And this is actually the last and the most important benefit because it will naturally help you to pick up the intonation and the rhythm of a foreign language. So what type of learner should do shadowing? Of course, if you are a listener, if you're someone who enjoys audio practices, who likes music, who, likes tuning in, who consumes a lot of information by listening or watching or listen, that type of media. I'm a good example. I love audio messages. I would prefer, I always listen to audiobooks instead of reading them. For me, listening is my strongest skill. And for a lot of people like me, it actually is super beneficial because it helps us to bypass the cognitive comprehension of the language, and we're like little kids. We're just repeating after someone without analyzing, what am I saying exactly? We're just trying to replicate this person. And of course, this practice is super beneficial from someone who's already in it. So not a very beginner. And I don't think you'll be watching this video if you're just starting with English. But if you're pre-intermediate, intermediate level, I think it's super beneficial because it will help you to kind of shift your language, towards the native speaker kind of language instead of just focusing on reading and writing, which sometimes has a risk of getting you stuck into the pattern of your native language. So shadowing, makes you listen to native speakers a lot and makes you replicate them a lot. So it is just an incredible way of immersing yourself into English-speaking environment if you're not living in an English-speaking country. So I think it's super necessary for people who are, in their English learning journey, living in their own country. They have to do shadowing, because otherwise, you will learn just theoretical kind of version of English instead of a practical, real one. And for any type of learner who actually wants to speak smoothly, who wants to speak native-like language, not just some version of English, which is okay too. Maybe it serves your goals. But on this channel, we're focusing on learning the kind of language that will bring you as close to a native speaker as possible. And for these exact reasons, the shadowing practice could be so beneficial for the opposite type of learner. If you're a reader or a writer who who feels comfortable in reading and writing and never tries to be this outspoken person because he's or she's so conscious about sounding wrong. That's a great way to actually at home, when you feel comfortable, where nobody sees you, play this game with yourself. It's almost like an acting class, You just hear someone and you repeat after that person. It's almost like you're trying, like a little kid who's like, what are you doing? What are you doing? And he or she repeats after you. It's like almost annoying. And that's why it's so fun, because here you're allowed to do that. You're encouraged to be that silly little kid who just tries to replicate someone, So how to do shadowing? First, of course, choose a material. Don't try to right away choose like a Nobel Prize winner speech. Pick a simple material. It's great if you have an opportunity, for example, like in our app, having it sentence by sentence. So split it in small segments so you don't have to repeat after big chunks of speech, but it's literally a sentence by sentence, something super clear, super doable. Then listen first. Don't be afraid to listen a few times. And actually, my favorite thing, and I'll show you when we'll be doing practice, I prefer you not seeing the words written. I prefer you just listening and repeating. In that case, you're not analyzing, you're not reading and then, saying it out loud, because sometimes it happens. You hear one thing, but when you read it, you naturally read it wrong, So if you can just listen and repeat, that would be ideal. Then, of course, you repeat, and I would recommend you recording yourself. So after that, you can actually listen to what you said. Because in our head, we think, well, I sound practically the same. But in reality, when we hear it on the tape, we're like, oh, it's kind of needs more work. So once again, pointing out the tips. Start with slow and clear material. Focus on short segments, sentences. Focus on something that is interesting to you. Don't pick material that's irrelevant. If you're into cars, pick something about it. If you're into fashion, you know what to do. Don't pick a random topic. You'll be bored to death. And number 4, be patient. Be patient and persistent. And it's okay if from the first attempt you sound nothing like the speaker. That's all right. You can repeat 4 times. It's actually good to come back to the same material and repeat, almost like you're memorizing it. But by listening and repeating, you're not memorizing the text, you're memorizing the performance, right? It's like, I don't want to say in a bad acting class, but let's say, okay, back to my old Hollywood times. In an environment of acting class, when 2 actors working on a scene, get a scene from a movie, a lot of actors, they don't like watching these movies because they are afraid of repeating the way it was acted. So instead of reliving it and creating your own version, your own performance, by watching something, specifically if it's an emotional speech or a scene, you kind of naturally want to replicate the intonation, specifically if you're an actor, because you kind of naturally, you tend to be mimicking people and picking after people. But that's exactly what we need for shadowing. We do want to be doing that. That's not an acting class. It's an English learning environment. So the more we can actually repeat after someone, the more it helps us, because we are, without even acknowledging what we're doing. I'm not even acknowledging that my intonation goes up and down, like, what? Or whatever their example is. You naturally pick it up without doing the extra work of thinking. So it's time for us to try shadowing together. Cool. Let's jump right into our app. So by definition, you have a read and speak mode in our app. So by pressing the little symbol in the left corner, At the bottom, we can switch to listen and speak. That's what we need. That's what's shadowing. And now, instead of seeing the text for an answer, we actually can listen to it.
Hi, Lola. Come on in.
Let's listen again.
Hi, Lola. Come on in.
Let's try to pronounce it. Hi, Lola. Come on in. Thanks. Nice place. I have a favor to ask.
Sure. What's up? Sure. What's up?
Sure. What's up? I'm leaving tonight. And by the way, I probably look like an absolute psycho talking to myself, but what can you do? And what I like about practicing shadowing in our app, you see we've tried to incorporate all the tips. It's short segments, and it's better to start with short segments. And this is a very simple series. And if you want to go, do a harder series, for example, like Paris or Welcome to Hollywood, go for it. Once again, just switch the type of practicing and do shadowing.
Nice. Where are you going?
Nice. Where are you going? I'm flying to Moscow to see my parents.
That's wonderful. For how long?
Let's listen back again.
That's wonderful. For how long?
Let's say it. That's wonderful. For how long? For about 2 weeks. And I hope you're doing it with me, right? Because that's the whole point, not just be watching the YouTube videos, but actually be practicing with me. Okay.
That should be fun. That should be fun.
Let's do. That should be fun.
Yes. So, can I ask you a favor? I brought you my keys.
Sure. What do you need?
And you could even hear the intonation. What do you need, right? She naturally kind of went up. And by mimicking the speaking lady, and she's a native speaker, we would naturally pick this pattern. Okay.
Sure. What do you need?
Sure. What do you need? Sure. What do you need?
Do you mind watering my plant when I'm gone?
No, Lola, because it's my plant also.
Of course. How often do you want me to water it?
Of course. How often do you want me to water it?
Once a week would be fine. I will water it tonight before I leave. So if you can come by in the end of the week.
Sure, no problem. Do you want me to check your mail also?
And by the way, if you ever want to see the text, once again, when you press on this little microphone, you'll see it. But before, I want you to listen to it.
Sure, no problem. Do you want me to check your mail also?
Oh, check your mail. And if you want to actually see it, you can press again on this little symbol in the left corner and just switch to read and speak. And now you'll see the whole phrase. Sure, no problem. Do you want me to check your mail also?
That would be nice. I'm waiting for a letter from Social Security.
Let's go back to shadowing.
Sounds good. Anything else?
Sounds good. Anything else?
I think that's it. Thank you so much. You are a lifesaver.
Happy to help.
Happy to help.
What are you up to?
I was about to go for a run and bake after.
I was about to go for a run and bake after.
Another orange pie. The last one was delicious.
No, this time I am making healthy muffins. Come by for a tea later. No, this time I am making healthy muffins. Come by for a tea later.
No, this time I'm making blueberry muffins. Come by for a tea later. Blueberry?
I
Healthy
would
muffin.
love to. But I need to take a rain check. I still have to pack.
Do you want me to drive you to the airport? Do you want me to drive you to the airport?
Do you want me to drive you to the airport?
Thanks. My friend is already coming. But I appreciate the offer.
Have a safe trip. Enjoy your time with family.
And once again, the intonation goes up. Let's try to mimic it.
Have a safe trip. Enjoy your time with family.
Have a safe trip. Enjoy your time with family.
Thank you. I'll text you in the end of the week to remind about the plan. Bye.
That's great. And once again, you'll see your fluency, your intonation, and the coolest part, and even if you're not practicing with the app, use voice notes or any kind of voice recorder to record yourself. Gladly here in our app, we made it possible to press on my recording after each episode so you can actually listen back to how you were pronouncing phrases. And once again, listen to native speaker pronouncing the same phrases, and you can compare and you can improve. And I do recommend you going multiple times through the same episode. You know, if it's boring for you to do it on the day, just do day after day, you know? My voice.
Hi, Lola.
We'll hear
Come
my
on
voice, and then
in.
we'll hear a native speaker. I'll show you. Hey!
Hi, Lola. Come on in.
Thanks. So that's how you do shadowing technique. With the help of Lola Speak app or without it, just do it. Just do it! Make your dreams come true. And by the way, if you want to continue practice with this series, that was Befriend Your Neighbor in Lola Speak app. So today we've learned about shadowing technique. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope if you haven't tried it before, after watching this video, you will give it a chance. You're like, I should try, doing this acting kinda-ish shadowing practice, which is fun and which will help me to improve my pronunciation and speaking skills. My name is Lola, and I'll see you next Friday, only if you will press like and subscribe, because then you'll get a notification and you won't miss our new video. See you!